few weeks ago, Charles Glass made the mistake of sharing a story in Sunday school, a story that I have heard in my mind again and again and thought about what that means for the church, a simple story, and yet a story that means so much. And I invited him to share that story with us this morning.
Thank you. I guess I started in 1985. I thought I was on top of the world back then. I was in the Army. I was commanding about 120 soldiers in an elite unit in the U.S. Army, and we were having a great time. It was great adventures, doing a lot of fun stuff. Everything was perfect for me. I thought my career was on track. I was really looking forward to each day. Then in November, I broke my back on a parachute jump, and everything changed. I found myself in the hospital, flat on my back, pretty much helpless, wondering what I was going to do. A lot of my life had been physical before, and there was just no way that was going to continue, I didn't think. The neurosurgeon that did surgery on me told me I'd never walk again. And I figured he was probably the most qualified to make that assessment, but it was hard to stomach. It seemed like each day that went by, I got some more bad news. It was hard to find good news in those times. Then about a couple of weeks after my injury, I got an envelope from my church. And I say my church, but really I hadn't been in that church much since 1976, 9 years earlier. That's when I left to go to college, and since then I'd been running around here and there, staying busy all the time. And if I ever came back to where my parents were in Huntsville, I would visit with them, and occasionally I guess we'd stop by the church if I was there on a Sunday, but I just hadn't been connected to them, hadn't kept those connections up or anything. But this envelope was a legal size envelope, pretty good size. I opened it up, and you may remember technology back then, high-tech was a dot matrix printer. And the dot matrix printers had fan-fold paper. So there was a program that you could write to put a message on a banner with this fan-fold paper on a dot matrix printer. And the church had done this. They had a banner printed out that said, "Hang in there, Charles, we're pulling for you." And then they had all signed it. I guess the kids had colored it because everything was black and white back then. But that really turned everything around. That was when I really felt God's love. That church I had not maintained much of a connection with them for the last 9 years. But they remembered me, and they reached out, and they showed me that each one of them was concerned about me. Each one of them was praying for me. And that was when it opened my eyes, turned things around, and I decided God really did have his hand in this, and I was willing to follow him going forward from there. So sometimes just little things like a little bit of fan-fold paper can make a big difference. Thank you.